Well, I don't know if it's recording, but waiting on it to come up on YouTube. Well, well. Is it live? Oh yeah, it is live. I need to hit play. Okay. I've had some things held back here just for stuff I wanted to do on the workbench. Took an extra day off this week, and it's Sunday, and I finally got to where I can do some projects. And this is an I4C battery checker. And this is a really cool battery checker from the NiCad metal hydride days. It gives us a digital readout of battery pack voltage, and you can give it a low load and a high load. And with NiCads and metal hydrides, there can sometimes be some fluffy voltage up on top that you need to have a resistance applied to it when you measure the voltage in order to know where you're really at. And this black button's a little bit flaky, so I want to replace it. And I don't remember the guy's name that made these, but I remember going to trade shows when I was in the RC hobby business, outdoor events, and he would sometimes be there. And he had a series of electronic products. Nice person. I think he just couldn't make enough in the business, and as I remember, he was some kind of flooring guy, like a tile guy or something, and he just made a lot more money doing that, and he eventually stepped away just to do tile. And he sponsored a friend of mine for a little while named Chris Fry. So how these buttons work is if you push, let me see if I can understand this right. Yeah, if you push the red button, which is this button, this is normally open. This becomes closed, and it connects it shorts the red and the black through this 6-ohm resistor. And if you push the black button, it shorts it through this 12-ohm resistor. So, and I want to almost unsolder that one. I want to make sure I undersolder the black one. That's the one that's a little bit funky. And do I have everything I need? I probably don't. Come on. Okay. All right, I need something a little beefier. How about I have a little bit of an overcrowded workshop here. I can see that on my screen there. And there we go. I just pulled that lead, bent that lead away from it while the solder was molten. And we'll loosen this puppy up. I don't know where these exact buttons came from. Mine is very similar, although it's different. Yeah, I always kind of wanted one of these back in the day, and I bought out an estate of a bunch of stuff, and this was in there, but this button was a little funky, so This is my chance to get one and throw it in my toolbox now. Whether I'll ever use it or not, that's another question. Here's the new one. And we can see this is the new one. This is the old one. A little bit of difference there, but effectively the same thing. And let's see, what did I drop my stuff at? Oh, here we go. I set that in there. And I guess I might as well go ahead and fasten it in. You know, it looks different enough from the side view. It almost makes me want to change them both, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, I tell you. It's just not worth it. Okay. Hey, look, we can get that end of that lead in there. And Radio Shack solder. Sad to see that company go. Okay. And this lead, I'm just going to splay it out. You know what? I can get some lead by, this one's bent over. I can push it back. But might not look like it, but I do electronics as part of my living. I'm not like a component level electronics guy, but I help with scientific research and UAS platforms and unmanned aerial vehicles or drones for a university. And so I'm always soldering up wiring harnesses and building things for the professors and the students, among many, many other things that I do. All right. Let's see if that works. Okay, so we got high load and low load. And I don't have to push it really hard, and it works every time. So we're at basically 6.3, 6.6. I think that's 300 and 5. Actually, I think that's 500, and this is 1 amp, about 5 volts. And that's an alkaline battery. This would be starting at a lower voltage, but depressing less if this were a good quality NiCad or a metal hydride battery. So I'm going to throw away the switch before it accidentally finds its way into another one of my projects. And as it turns out, I was able to order a whole bag of those switches. I don't remember the exact price, but for like 50% more than 2 switches, I got a whole bag of them. I just had to wait a couple of weeks for them to come. And I've been building up my home electronics project kit, so that was good. Let's see. Oh, something else I want to say. When you're using a battery holder, and I don't have the proper kind of battery here for this to measure, so I just threw these in a battery holder. You cannot discharge NiCads and metal hydrides and cycle them or put big loads on these, because these springs on the negative ends of the cells, they are very resistive. They will go red hot, or they'll get so hot that they melt the plastic housing. Yeah, ask me how I know. I've made that mistake. And I remember after having made that mistake, like, I don't know, 15 years later, I made it again because I'd forgotten. So yeah, physics didn't change. Plastic still melts. So I can throw that in my field box. Let me get the screws in it, though. We're going to complete this all the way. If you do subscribe to my channel and you see me putting up some some content. I'm looking to, like right now I have my laptop running, and I didn't advertise this in advance, so nobody's here but at the moment, but I'll try to have the chat open and respond to chat. And screws, in plastics, you want to turn them backwards until you feel it pop in, because you don't want to cut a new thread in that plastic post. That's what causes them to get stripped out. And let me get this a little closer to the camera so that maybe we can see. Turning it backwards. Right there it dropped in. And then we'll do it again. Right there it dropped in, and we'll do it again. Right there it dropped in. And so after it drops in, I run the screwdriver down. And that way I don't cut a new set of threads and damage this. And this thing's, this thing's at least, this has got to come from like, I don't know, it's got to be 12, 15, 18 years old. So it's probably been apart a few times. So that'll go in my field box. And rid of the bag. Okay. Oh, what's the other thing I want to do? Now this I'm a little less sure of. I'm unplugging it right now. Well, not really ready, am I? There, now it's unplugged. This is an Ace dual metered current adjustable power supply. So dual metered Vari-Charger is what it's called. And this is handy for charging overnighting or form charging NiCads, nickel metal hydrides. And I have one of these somewhere that I built as a kit that's a single channel. This one's 2 channels. And I picked this up, see the tested okay sticker. I picked this up at a swap meet somewhere. And sometimes you'll see something like this for $5. The screen was out of it, and I've already opened it up and fixed the screen. It had just come unglued. And it's also got an AC-DC, so you could set this up for a DC input, so you could power it off your 12-volt field box battery, for example, and charge a battery. These are very, very handy for small batteries because you can get very low currents. But notice it's not connected to anything, and look how high the meter's reading. Now, I don't know that I can fix that, but I'm going to spend a little bit of time and see if I can. I do have some Corrosion X here, which is a little bit of a lubricant. I don't know if I can get it in that bearing or jewel, or even if it is a jewel. And there's another interesting feature on this. It's got this AC-DC switch, so it could be ran either way. When I opened it up, I discovered, well, there's no wires on it. And let me get this 10-volt wire out of here. And since it switches from AC to DC, that's very interesting. How do you do that with the double pole, double throw switch? Well, I believe the intention is that you take the hot side of the switch and use one side of this to connect the AC line to the transformer, and the other side to connect the DC plus to the output end of the bridge rectifier, which must be in here. And there would have to be a connector and a wire input put on it, which it doesn't have. I don't intend to do that right now. I see this piece of tape here. I've actually never done this before with a meter, but I thought it was worth a go. What can I find here? There we go. Now this is the original meter, and it's got Ace RC printed in it. That was a company that used to be Ace RC. Eventually, it got bought by Thunder Tiger, I think, and then it became Rev Electrics somewhere in there. And I knew those guys that owned it, and the guy that founded it. Be surprised if he's still alive. They were nice people, and they were always very good to me when I was in business. Jamie, I believe, was his name. See, there's a little bit of ink on that. It shows where it's never been turned. And let's see if I can turn it back. Oops. Now I can turn it. Oh, look, I can turn it to 0. There we go. Okay, so now this is a charger actually, and I'm plugging it into an alkaline battery, which is fine considering I'm not actually going to leave it plugged in and charge the battery. Now if I can just plug in my power again. There we go. And power on. Look. The meter doesn't come back down. That's funny. I think the meter jewel needs lubricated or something. Yeah, you shake it and it goes back down. Well, let's see what moves in here. Yeah, I don't see what's moving. All right. I might ruin it. Let's see. I'm going to try to get a little bit of corrosion X in there. Only goes up to 100 milliamps too. That's kind of weird. Should go up to 500. Oh, look, the back of the meter's coming off. Oh, when I undid the tape, that's what was holding it on. Holding the lens on. I didn't realize that. Okay. Wow, this is like using a... See, just get that one drop to fall off of there. I wonder if it has no return spring. Ooh, look at that. Now we can get to 500. So I wonder if that lubricant will begin to function on that. Trying to be a little careful here not to get shocked. There's live AC in here. That's probably just enough spray to dry up in there and cause it to never work again. I know you can hardly see what I'm doing. I don't know if that tape's going to stick or not. Looks like it is. Now I'm going to leave that set a while and see if it gets any better. Maybe that lubricant will creep around and make a difference. Otherwise, I think I'm going to have to take it apart more deeply again. And I think somebody had plans for that, probably related to that switch. Who knows? Maybe I'll add that feature later. Everything being ran on lipos nowadays. It's lipos and lifes. It's unlikely that this will ever get used again. Although my old company, Radical RC, we still make NiCad metal hydride batteries. Some things they just make sense for still, especially older gear because they can't take the higher voltages. I'm pinching that green wire. There we go. Now we got it all together. I don't know if you've watched this video for the first time. You might see that I've kind of gotten into rockets this year. Playing with low power stuff. I did them when I was a kid, and now that I'm addicted to 3D printing, I'm really enjoying making rockets on the 3D printer. So, okay. Well, that's enough of that project. Now, the next project. I have a TTX 850 here, Tactic. This is an older, inexpensive computer radio sold by Hobbico. I think you can still buy receivers for it. And I purchased this radio helping a friend get started. And he's already got a radio, but I've already got some Tactic radios. And so this means I can buddy box him. Hey, there you go. Comes on. That's the first time I've turned it on since I got it. And I bought this off of a fellow on RC Groups. All switches are good. Paid $90 for this and a receiver, an 8-channel receiver, which is a good deal. Transmitters generally go for about $100, and he delivered it for the $90, so it's like getting it for $80. And let's see, it does have a battery cover. Let's see. Oh, this is the battery holder that came with it. I got a battery holder out of my other transmitter just in case we wanted to bind a receiver and wiggle a servo. It's been a while since I've bound a receiver on one of these. Come on. There we go. But they made a throttle position high. They made a 6-channel version of this, and on one of those, and an 8-channel version. And I got the second one. I bought the first one was the 6-channel version. It's for my wife to learn to fly with. And I found a good deal on the 8-channel one, and it felt like so much better quality that I still would like to replace the 650 with another 8-channel. Okay. So there we go. Here's the receiver I got with it. Tactic TTX 850. I think that's black paint. I saw a little, yeah, that's what it is. Black paint or glue or something. And we got a binding button in there. Let's plug a servo in. Plug that into channel 1. And battery. Plug that in. Not sure the order of operations here. That made the servo move. And let me see if I can go through the menus here and remember how to do this. Throttle management, wing type, transmitter, trainer, trim setting. Maybe hold enter and ESC down as you turn it on. Factory reset. Okay. All device on data will be deleted. Yep, let's do that. Yes, let's do that. What is check resource, I wonder? It's been a while since I've used these, so I forget how everything works. All right, let's look at these menus. Wireless transfer, we're going to end up doing that. Wing type, channel assignments, warnings, trainer. Okay. Aha. So I turned it on holding the enter button down. Turn that backlight up a little bit. Eye power on, battery alarm, speaker volume, contrast, mode 2, username. Hey, let's change this. The guy's name is Reggie. Let's see. Give him just a little bit of a surprise. And is there a space? No. Put an underbar in there. Okay, that's the space. I could have just went around the world and got to 0. Got to O. Oops. It doesn't go backwards, does it? It doesn't loop around. So we'll put a period in here. Reggie O. Okay. Escape. Okay, I'm going to have to look up. I have to admit, find tactic TTX 850. I'm sure I'm going to be like, oh yeah. I noticed there's a button. Might just be powering this up, holding the button down near a transmitter. Let's see. Before I invest any time in reading, and waste your time, let's do that. Hold the link button down. That's too tight. What do I have that's pointerier? Oh, I got something here. Freaking hypodermic needle. Oh, that's pretty tiny. Yep. There it is. That's all I had to do was turn it on, holding the button down. And it binds to the nearest transmitter. And I got it in channel 1, so that's good. Go to channel 2. I believe this follows the Futaba pattern. That's elevator. And let's go to 3 before we go to 4. Should be throttle. Should be rudder. And 5 probably hasn't been assigned, but it would be a switch. Yeah, it hasn't been assigned. So, okay. Awesome. So Reggie O gets a new transmitter. And we can actually go do a flight lesson then. And let me see here. Get back to our live stream. I doubt anybody's there. Oh, I got a rocket to show you. Here we go. There's our live stream, which appears to be, no, it's not locked. It's me programming. I didn't bring the cone in, but if you've seen some of my half A size rockets before, this is printed on my new Voron V 0.1. And if you know what that is, you know that it's only got 120 millimeter cubed build space. And so this is printed separately from this. And I glued this together with this clear, transparent, it's a non-foaming Gorilla Glue. And it reminds me of shoe goo or zap goo, a clear plastic glue, but it's very thin as opposed to like shoe goo or zap goo, which is kind of thick. And for these close fitting parts, it was nice to put it in there. So, and what I'm working on right now is I got a friend with some grandchildren. I'm going to send him a bunch of rocket parts where they can glue on different length tubes and different fin bases and use different cones and make their own rockets. And that's a box of parts I've already printed up. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do for them on a launcher. I'm probably going to design and solder up an electronic launcher. And some of the stuff here on my workbench is related to that. Maybe we'll do that project. That's a key switch. These are mushroom head buttons. And the last rocket launcher I built, which none of you have seen, had lit buttons, but I love these mushroom heads. And so here's an LED for continuity. So basically what happens is the power from the battery goes out, connects to this, goes out through the igniter in the rocket, and it goes into one of these leads, out of the other lead, and back to the battery. And so you're limited to the power that the LED uses, which is 20, 30 milliamps, right? And there'll be a resistor in there to keep the current low and not burn out the LED. And then you use the switch to launch the rocket to jump the LED leads, which connects the battery directly without the LED as a limiter. Connects the battery directly to the igniter and sends off the rocket. So, and these are some parts for messing around with that kind of stuff. Some of this stuff is so cheap, I just wanted to have it on hand for whatever projects I wanted to do in the future. All right. So we did, we fixed the I4C voltage checker right here. We checked out the TTX 850 and the 825 receiver. We played around with the needle on the on the dual metered Varicharger. I'll probably come down here and shake that once in a while and work it a little bit and try to get it working really good. This has been Dave on the Crafted channel. Hope you've enjoyed this. I know I've certainly had a good time, and it's good to get a little more content out there. And we'll see you the next time I go live, and I have no idea when that is.